I always thought that the Night Goblins, you can call them whatever you want, they will always be Night Goblins for me, had the most fun of all the other Warhammer races. I wonder if... Hello fellow Herders of the Blue and welcome to my channel, and also welcome to another episode of Heavy Contrast. Heavy Contrast is a series where I try to paint one miniature to the highest standard possible, using just contrast paints and highlights, and for this episode I'm going to paint a super cute ball of teeth and anger. So, let's get cracking. So as you can see, we're starting from a base coat of Wraithbone spray, and I kept his teeth and tongue as a separate piece because otherwise I cannot access the inside of his mouth comfortably, and the first step we'll do is paint the inside of his mouth so I can, well, just forget about it and glue those teeth in. And the first step will be to base coat all the inside using Basilicanum Grey. I will probably go in and clean any of the spillage if I have any. The objective here is get this dark and nice. The Basilicanum Grey is now completely dry, and I want to make a little note. I ended up painting the whole of the tongue and all of the gums with this. After that I'm just going to apply over the visible areas a 1-to-1 mix of Volupus Pink and Contrast Medium. I'm not going to worry about the teeth at all, but I will try to keep the flesh clean. I'm also going to apply this 1-to-1 mix of Volupus Pink and Medium over the lips. So with the mouth now glued and base coated basically, you can see the inside looks nice and dark and pinky, and you can see we have two very distinct tones of pink, which I think is lovely. And for the body I'm just going to use a 1-to-1 mix of Fleshsealers Red and Blood Angels Red. For this I'm going to load my brush a lot, and I'm going to, you can see that it's fully loaded, and I'm going to go section by section very carefully. Not going to care about anything else now. This is all about the flesh and having a nice smooth result here. I'm going to apply a thick layer. I'm going to go back and absorb any excess. Remember, this dries super dark, especially because we had Fleshsealers Red in here. So this will go super dark in the shadows, so we want to absorb any excess, so because the pullings will show dramatically here. With all the main contrast layers now fully dry, before I start highlighting all the base coat details, I want to base coat the rest, just because it looks nicer. And I'm going to start with the teeth, and for the base coat I'm going to use a 1-to-1 mix of Morghast Bone and Wraithbone. For the claws on his feet I'm going to use Mechanicus Standard Grey. And for the eyes and the drool that's coming from his mouth I'm going to use Corax White. With all those elements base coated, it's now time to do all the contrast layers over them. And the next one will be Nazareth Yellow for the eyes. I'm then going to do a 1-to-1 mix of Apothecary White and Contrast Medium over the drool. And now I'm going to apply Basilicanum Grey over the teeth, but I'm going to concentrate it towards the bottom part. So for the big teeth, for example, I'm going to apply it, clean the brush and feather it out. This doesn't have to be super clean, but we are going to save a lot of pain and work if we do it this way. And we will have to do maybe a couple of layers of this to build up the intensity. I just been applying Basilicanum Grey over his teeth, and it's not the cleanest transition, but as I said before, it's not really that important. We're going to clean that up later on with highlights. Now I'm going to do the same as I did here on the drool, but using Maker's Purple. With all those base coats done, it's time to start highlighting, and I'm going to start with his teeth, just because they are looking pretty awful now with those ugly transitions, and I'm going to clean that up just to have a little bit of peace of mind. And I'm going to glaze the base tone. This is a 1-to-1 mix of Morghast Bone and Wraithbone, as you can see, quite thin. I'm going to glaze it in the opposite direction as I did the Basilicanum Grey, so from the bottom to the top. And this will clean all the messy transitions right to where we want them, not looking clean because they are squeak teeth, but looking at least cleanly painted. I'm also going to pick the ridges and edges of each teeth with a thick line of this. With the teeth now looking much nicer, I'm going to keep on highlighting them, and for the next highlight I'm going to use a 1-to-1 mix of Wraithbone and white. And I'm just going to do a very thin edge highlight. And on top of that, I'm going to do a very small dot of this at the bottom of each teeth. And now I'm going to finish his teeth by doing just a very final highlight of pure white at the very tips. I know you all want to see me paint his red skin, but I actually kind of feel like I want to paint his tongue now, and for the first highlight I'm going to use a 1-to-1 mix of Pink Horror and Kislev Flesh. And for the final highlight on the tongue, I'm going to use a 2-to-1 mix of Pallid Witch Flesh and Pink Horror. And I'm also going to use this same mix to highlight the lips. Also just realized I forgot, but the gums will be highlighted the same way as the tongue. And I know I just said that would be the last highlight on the tongue, but I lied. I'm going to do a final one. This will be Pallid Witch Flesh, and I'm just going to pick up some of the edges here. This highlight will help increase the effect of this being wet. We can add some lines to give it a bit of texture. Also, let's not forget the gums. Just one dot on each of the corners would be enough. And I will also use this to highlight the lower lip. I hope you don't mind if I make a small break to introduce you to this video sponsor, me. I am a goldsmith. My job is cool because I get to play with fire and make cool custom stuff. How cool? Well, I will let you judge for yourselves. Not bad, huh? I'm really proud of my work. I make normal boring stuff too. But who wants to see that? Much better, back to the cool pieces. I'm going to pick up the top parts of each muscle here. As you can see, with a couple of passes we're starting to see quite a bit of effect. It's just a matter of just going around the model doing this slowly but surely. With that first highlight done, I'm going to move into a 1-to-1 mix of Wild Ride Red and Kislev Flesh. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to keep on building the volumetric highlight with glazes, but of course reducing the size. As well as keep on building those nice edge highlights on the wrinkles and stuff like that. That highlight done, I'm going to move into the next one. This will be pure Kislev Flesh. And again, thinning it down to this sort of consistency, and I'm going to keep on building this highlight. Our squeak is looking rather well. I'm really happy with how the skin is, but I want to give it just a teeny tiny bit more of highlighting, and this will be Flayed One Flesh. And I will just do very small dots of Flayed One Flesh here and there as a final highlight. With the skin finish there is not much left, and I'm going to start finishing off all those little details, and I'm going to start with the eyes, and for this I'm just going to do a dot of white in the middle. Also with white I'm going to highlight the drool here. So with that step done, there is only one thing left to do, and that is painting his claws, and for this I'm going to do an edge highlight with Mechanicus Standard Grey. And with that highlight done, I'm going to move into the last highlight for the model. This will be a 1-to-1 mix of Mechanicus Standard Grey and Corax White. I'm using this mix just for the sake of not using more colors for this model, but you can use Administratum Grey if you want. The result will be very similar. Okay, I lied again. I'm going to use one more highlight. This will be Corax White, and I will just do very small dots of this, just on the very tips. And with that last step done and the base painted, our squig is finished, and this was a lot of fun to paint. I've always loved squigs since I started painting Warhammer models, and this was a true joy for me. And I really like this kind of faded red, but if you want a more intense red, you can just do the same and maybe do a glaze of Blood Angels red over this to bring back the intensity. So, as I always say guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Do you like my videos and want to help me make them? Well, there are several ways you can do that. You can follow me on social media, you have links to all my social media in the description below. You can also check all my affiliate links in the pinned comment of this video, use those links in your next hobby purchase and help me without any additional cost to you. I also have a link for the brushes that I use down there. But most importantly, there is Patreon and channel members. You have the link to my Patreon in the description below in the pinned comment of the video. Or if you prefer, you can just click the join button below this video. Patreon channel members help me do all the cool projects that I want to make and help me improve the quality of my videos. Don't be afraid, no content will ever be hidden behind a paywall, but it's a nice way to help me. You will get something back for generosity. As I said guys, thank you very much for watching. A special thank you to Heather Amstel, Laura Sigismundi, Nicolas Fournier, Brian Bledsoe, LMAP Limited, Tyrannosaur, Carlos Rivera, Chris Goldendahl, Christoph Moret, Javi Mota, Kim Anderson, Michael Boye, Thomas Ustergaard, Tom Brand, Victor Domen, Arundel, Charles Armitage, Chris Broga, Chris Fivey, Christopher Cassidy, Kieran Omurthar, Crystalios, Dan Mako, Darcy Farrar, Dr. B, Gareth Smith, Geoffrey Dell, George Royce, G-Force, Jack Scouten, Jamie Milligan, Joe Simpson, JT Butler, Kevin Mian, Kevin Sulas, Renat Lineman, Mark Jarvis, Nadius Maximus, Juan Brastrock Better, Oscar Jonathan Thornberg, Roger Nilsson, Samuel Spark, and Tasted for being the coolest persons in the planet. Be like these fine folks on my Patreon and take control.